You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, CBS soap opera fans. It's Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we have got your Young and the Restless early edition weekly spoilers from Monday, May 29th through Friday, June 2nd. These are just a few spoilers that have come out early that are undated, but we're going to share them with you now, and then check back here for our full, all the Young and the Restless spoilers dated for everything you need to know next week. Check for that tomorrow. If you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless casting news, everything you need to know about your favorite soap, Y&R, on CBS. All right, let's dig in. We have got 4 hot spoilers for May 29th through June 2nd. Again, these are undated, and we're going to tell you what they are, and we're going to discuss them in the context of other spoilers we know and the action that is going on right now. So, Victor Newman corners Nate Hastings and has a chat with him about his intentions. It became very clear the other day, to the point that Victor couldn't ignore it, that Victoria Newman is betting her Newman Media CEO. They tried to be sly with their separate walks of shame, leaving the GCAC, but Adam Newman noticed and he pointed it out to Victor Newman, who then couldn't ignore it. Nikki's not liking it. Nobody trusts Nate Hastings. I struggle to think of one person in Genoa City that trusts Nate Hastings, and as a matter of fact, they should not, because Nate has his eye on a higher up job. He is conspiring with Audra Charles. They want to get rid of Nick Newman and Nikki Newman, because if you recall, Nikki is she the co-CEO? Is she COO? At any rate, the two of them, Nick and Nikki, have really high positions just under Victoria, and that's what Nate and Audra want for themselves. So when Victor comes at him about what are your intentions, of course, Nate can't tell the truth, because the truth is power and greed, and it'll be very interesting to see, because I feel like, just me personally, that Nate's going to end up in bed with Audra before too long, because they're making him out just to be a dog, which is great. It's so soapy, and Sean Dominic is absolutely killing it as this rogue. So him hopping in bed with Audra and then still sleeping with her, it's like he's a new Tucker McCall, I'm excited about it. So we'll see what lies he tells Victor when Victor corners him, wanting to know what does he intend now that he is hooking up with Victoria. Also, we have Summer Newman making a confession. That's vague. First of all, that's vague. And, you'd hear that and you'd like to think, oh, good, she's finally coming clean to Kyle Abbott. She is going to just throw herself on his mercy and say, look, I didn't tell you when I first found out. I was grieving and then shocked and then panicking, and I should have told you right away so that your mom wouldn't stay in jail. I'm sorry. But I don't think that's her confession. I think that it's going to be a watered down confession of sorts, or she doesn't confess to Kyle at all. Maybe she comes clean to Chance Chancellor. We just did another video, check our Y&R playlist, about some couple makeups, breakups, and shakeups coming out of this Phyllis drama. And it sure seems like Summer and Kyle are heading for the skids, because how can he forgive her? It's one thing for her to be having her little pouty tantrums and accusing his mom of murder. It's another for her to keep doing that when she knows that her mom was alive. And that's what Summer did. And that's going to be the big problem. It's just a mess, and it's not going to go well. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. This next spoiler is back to corporate stuff, and this is Audra conspiring against Nick. So again, I said before about the Victor Nate thing. Audra and Nate have decided they want to be in power at Newman Enterprises and Newman Media. Nate has promised that he will put Audra in charge of Newman Media as CEO when he gets to take over as COO working for Victoria Newman. But Nick Newman is part of their problem, and so Audra is going to start plotting against Nick. The big question is, what is she going to do? Is she going to sabotage some of his reports? Is she going to just tell lies about him? Is she going to tank some division he's in charge of? There's no telling, but Audra Charles is a smart girl, and she was mentored by Tucker McCall, who is a wicked and immoral businessman. So when it comes down to what Audra might do to Nick, heck, there is just no telling at all. Okay, before we dig into the last of these spoilers for the week of May 29th, if you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, news, all the stuff you want to know about Y&R on CBS. All right, so this last thing, we have Sharon Newman learning something disturbing, some disturbing news, a disturbing update. And this is all back to that bottle of champagne. Sharon is going to find out that Cameron Kirsten is on the loose. I tend to think, based on the expiration of time between now and back when Sharon and Nick had Cameron locked up, gosh, was that in like the early 2000s? It's been legit like 2 decades. So he's probably served his time. I wouldn't think that it's a prison break. I am assuming that he's out on parole. And so perhaps because she was a victim, she gets one of those victim notices that they have to tell you if someone who's attacked you or something gets set free. So already that bottle of champagne came, and we could see that somebody was keeping an eye on Sharon. And then Nick pointed out the little spot of red paint that looked like blood, and Sharon threw it out. If you don't remember Cameron Kirsten, he was played by Lyndon Ashby, and he was this psycho who was obsessed with Sharon, and a bottle of champagne just like that is what she used to crack him upside the head. She thought she had killed him, which would have been a good thing because he was awful and he had attacked her. And she dumped his body into a trash dumpster and then took off, but he wasn't dead. And he did all this horrible stuff. He killed Mariah and Cassie's biological father, Frank Barrett, and framed Sharon for his murder so that Sharon would have to run to him, and just so much. Lyndon Ashby is Susan Walters' husband, and of course Susan Walters plays Diane Jenkins. So we do know 100% that Sharon's stalker is Cameron Kirsten because Lyndon Ashby has already put the credit on his IMDb page. We noticed that a couple of days ago, several days ago, a week ago. We were the very first to report it, as a matter of fact. So get ready to see a blast from the psychotic past come to Genoa City when Cameron Kirsten reveals himself to terrify Sharon. Check back tomorrow for our full roster of spoilers dated day by day for all of your favorite soap operas.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.